Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Shout Gossip. Here to join me today is lovely Marissa Shockley.
Hello, hello,
Thank you
hello.
so much for being a part of this. I really, truly appreciate it. As soon as I reached out to you, you did not hesitate. You was like, oh, sure, when the day,
Yeah.
when the time. So I really, really appreciate that. Um, I just wanted to talk to you about, how you got into the beauty industry, what made you get into it, and your journey along the way. So, what is one of the things that inspired you
Um,
into being in the beauty industry?
actually started off. My sisters and I always loved to sing, so I
Okay.
would say the love of singing and preparing for that world
Okay.
got me interested in hair in the beginning.
Okay.
I actually was in a fashion show and a salon, hosted it,
Okay.
and I ended up working at the salon as
Okay.
a teenager
Okay.
that hosted the fashion show. And back then, I just was an assistant because I was like, I don't like the pressure
Yeah.
that hairstylists have to be under.
Yes.
Like, it
Yes.
was okay to be in the back washing heads
Yes.
because everything
Yes.
was all good back there.
Yes.
But when they got in that chair, it was something different, and
Yes.
I was really intimidated by that part of it. But I had my son as a teenager,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I'm sitting here with this kid, and I'm like, what am I going to do to take care of him?
Right.
And I was like, I should just do hair.
There you go.
It kind of really came on like a light bulb. Like,
Right.
I could try to do hair. I
Right.
tried working in corporate America,
Okay.
and doing a desk job because I actually thought I would be in the business world as
Okay.
Capricorns.
Oh yes.
I was always a natural leader.
Yes.
So
Yes. Yes.
if I wasn't going to do hair, then I wanted to be at the top of the corporate world. I wanted
Mhm.
to be a powerful
Oh
businesswoman.
wow. Well, look at you here today. You are a businesswoman. You know.
Yeah, in some way, but having my son was like a little, setback. But I was
Mhm.
like, I feel like hair is something that can get me almost all the things that I wanted
Wow.
before I had him. So
Right. Right.
that's when I just decided to go to beauty school.
Okay. Now, how old were you? I know as young girls, we start out pretty young. Like, when did you realize? I know you say you worked in a hair salon, but how old were you at that
I
time?
was 14 then.
Yeah, we start so young.
Yeah,
It's
I
amazing how we start so young. Guess how old I was?
How old?
I was 11.
Oh wow. Was
Yes.
Ron your first experience?
No, no. I didn't live here. I was living in Baltimore.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I was working with a lady named Dion,
Mm,
and I was about 11 years old. Oh wait, I forgot about Monique. I
okay.
worked with Monique as well for a while. But yeah, I was 11.
Wow.
Yes,
11 is early.
that is
Did you
super
have to
early.
stand on a stool to
I
wash
know,
hair?
I'm so short.
That had to be so
Yes,
cute. You probably
I
got lots
know,
of
right?
tips.
Yes, yes. But I did get a major tip as far as like what to do. Like I remember when I was very intimidated,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
remember shampooing this lady's hair, and I'm thinking that I'm giving it my all, especially at 11 years old, right? And she said, "Baby girl, stop." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Let me show you what to do."
Mm-hmm.
So she took my hand and she started moving it around in her head to show me how to
To
shampoo.
wash her
How
hair.
yes, and let me tell you something. From I don't even remember that lady's name, but she definitely taught me, and it stuck with me. And everybody loved my
I
shampoos.
mean, shampooing is a
That's
foundation
it is.
to a great hairstyle
Mhm.
and to
Mhm.
great hair care,
Mhm.
and that's something that sometimes people get away from in the
Exactly.
industry today. And I feel like shampoo, it's
Yes,
okay.
yes. I mean, I think it's one of the most important things.
Hmm.
And like you said, it's the foundation.
And it makes your clients feel pampered
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
tended to,
Yes, it's crazy how we have gotten away from the whole treating our clients.
Hmm.
It's almost like it is ran as like a chop shop.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I hate to say it like that.
An expensive chop
Yeah.
shop because we put in a lot of hard work
Yes,
and made
yes.
less money
Yes,
in
we
those
did.
earlier years,
Yes, I agree.
But we definitely put in work.
Yes. I mean, sometimes I be seeing some of these girls' prices, and no shade to anybody, but I'm like,
Well, to me, it's sometimes a list of demands on the client, almost as if we aren't in the service industry, and that is something that I always loved about doing hair. Is I do like to take care of people,
Absolutely.
and that's important. And to me, some of those things like shampooing
It's
is
important.
essential. Yeah.
It is. So, what do you feel was a pivotal moment for you, um, being in this industry?
Um, One of the pivotal moments for me, I would say, is that raised my profile, at least in small York, is a while ago. My husband always worked with the music industry. He had a
Right.
label called Native Son. So he's been working with artists for years, and he had a partner named Ernest
Okay.
Jackson. And Ernest always bumped into the celebrity connections because he was a promoter.
Okay.
And somehow he landed me in the arms of Mama D
Wow.
from Love and Hip Hop.
Okay.
And all I did was I went to her house. She was
Okay.
putting on a fashion show in Atlanta.
Okay.
So I went there, ended up in her house doing her hair, and
Mhm.
took a photo.
Wow.
And I feel like that photo raised my profile as
Wow.
far as a stylist in a different way,
Wow.
especially once the social media world
Yes.
came along. So I feel like that made me like that was a moment that made me feel like I was somebody.
Well, you
in,
awesome. Yes.
in the hair industry,
right,
you know,
right,
because
right.
I've always been really humble. One thing is, when I did come to York after I decided to go to Empire, I knew that I wanted to come to York because I moved here from Illinois,
Okay.
and I wanted to work for one of the best stylists in town.
Yes.
And Marion Kennedy Anderson led me to Gretchen,
Okay.
Washington. So
Okay.
my first job was assistant under Gretchen here in
Oh,
York.
very nice.
After that, I worked for Garrow. I
Okay.
worked with Tasha.
Yes.
I worked with Lika was somebody I looked up to at
Yes.
an early age around
Okay,
here because
okay.
she was just one of the best,
Right.
especially as far as creativity. Tasha Matthews gave me tips on cutting.
Oh,
I worked with
wow.
her.
Okay.
So I felt like all those years leading up to it, I got to pay my dues working with all
Yes.
these amazing stylists from right here in York
And
City.
that is awesome. And all the names that you've mentioned, I have definitely heard of them. Moving here to York, and I would hear about Lika a lot. Like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
she is the best. She's the
She's
best
the rock
at
star,
cutting.
like-
Yes,
Yes.
yes, definitely the rock star.
But Gretchen, I would say, is was one of the first stylists. Also, Stacy,
yes,
that
okay,
did
yes.
hair on another level.
Yes.
You know, I always heard like Gretchen worked for Dudley,
Yes.
which at the time was huge. She was a platform artist. And once Stacy started doing Monique, I believe, and going on the road,
Yeah.
it was a big deal for York City. So
That's
I always admired people like them.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never forget, I know you started with Ron.
Yeah, I did.
And when I opened my first salon at
Mm-hmm.
21, I actually went over and talked to Ron. His sister took me to meet him, and
Oh,
she told me
nice.
about the Friends concept and how
Yes.
he got started. So
Okay.
I've always just been inspired by people that were in the game ahead of me.
And that's awesome. And that's one of the reasons why I had created this platform, so that we could be able to share our stories and our knowledge, with hopes that people who are coming up in the beauty industry, they will have something that they could tap into and listen to, and that we hope that it will help them and carry them along the way. So that's good.
Yeah,
It's always nice to be able to have people to look up to, and I
It
always
is.
say that it is important to also get a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, tap into that knowledge, you know, because a lot of people think that it's so easy as soon as you graduate cosmetology school, you can get out there and you can go, you can do your own, but it's always good to have some type of connection, because you will have bumps along the way. Because I have had many.
Yeah, I watched one of your other episodes, and some of the advice you gave about the beginnings. You know, when I first started, one of my first jobs was I worked at Jomo and Company. So I always used to tell people I was Eve in the movie because it was all the barbers and me
Okay.
in the back. But there were times when I used to have to borrow money from the barbers to buy relaxer from the hair store so I could do my client, and I'll pay you when I'm done.
Yes,
You know, like
absolutely.
I remember my goal being to get to the point where I made $100 a day at least. You know what I mean?
Oh, I've been there.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was a struggle, but I never complained about support.
That's right.
I just kept my nose to the ground and just kept grinding it out, you know.
Yes.
And back then there wasn't as much social media. It was word of mouth. So it really was about your reputation, and maybe that's why some of the way we treat clients has changed, because you don't have to always deal with them directly in the beginning,
Right.
or have a good reputation just to bring people in. And sometimes sometimes now you just post your work. Who cares about your personality?
Right.
So you don't
That's
really
true.
have to develop that. But we came along in the earlier years where you really did need to develop your personality
Because the word of mouth is what was
and
gonna
your
carry
people
you.
skills.
Yeah. And I still speak on that to this day. I
Mhm.
think that it's so important because to me, I don't care how high of a following you have. I mean, and kudos again to you who have a high following, but you still have to have a level of customer service and
Yes.
customer etiquette and client etiquette. You know, and we talked about that in the previous podcast. It hasn't aired yet, but
Yeah.
coming from a client's perspective.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yes,
I'd like to hear.
yes.
It'd be interesting to hear what
Yes.
clients feel about that.
Because I mean, I think that now you go through so much. It's like you have your booking system, you have your rules and your regulations, and like you said, some people have to come wash and blow dried and all the extra stuff, you know, before they can even get into the chair. But people don't even really do proper consultations anymore.
That's true.
And I feel like a consultation is definitely what also lays the foundation of being able to meet your client's expectations and goals.
Oh, that's true. That is
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
And I wanted to also comment about how you said it's important to have a mentor.
Oh, yeah.
I remember hearing somewhere that you also need your personal board of directors. And that board of directors evolves throughout time in your career because your needs change, you
Right.
grow. So at one point, somebody can get you to one point, and
Yes.
then your mentor may change
Yes.
at that point, and that's okay too.
Absolutely.
To have a revolving, evolving
Absolutely.
board of directors for your personal and
I agree with that.
professional life.
Y'all better listen to this. Oh boy, so what are some highlights for you? Like, what was a highlighted moment? I know you spoke about Mama D, but besides that, like, do you have any other moments that you felt like, wow, I'm doing it?
When SWV came to town.
Oh wow, okay, I remember seeing that you did
Kiana,
that.
Santiago, and I, we got to style them. And as a teenager, I said I sang. So
Right.
my sisters and I sang weeks. So when they
Oh.
came in the room and we got to style them, that was amazing.
Oh, good.
Something else I'd like to hit on that has been a privilege and a highlight of my life is having a salon space and building a clientele to be able to start Yaya Girls.
Oh, yes, okay.
That's a big deal to me because so many times a lot of hairdressers give back to the community
Right.
in ways that people don't get to see. But at the time, we had a huge salon space with almost like it was like a gym in the back. It was a
Wow.
huge space.
Okay.
So I was thankful that at the time I had the space and the friends and the clients and the support that we could start an after school program for the girls right in my space and not need anybody's help. It was like a female version of what the Black Panthers could do. That's what I always looked at it as because it was funded by us and it was for us. And that's a highlight of my career.
Oh, that is
as well.
awesome. So, do you think that you would ever get back into the Yaya?
I would
Girls?
love to do Yaya Girls again. Now it's about finding time
Yes.
along with the candy
because you're
stand now.
so busy now, and now you
Yeah.
have, of course, a new baby, a new addition to your
Yes,
business and your
yes.
profile
Yes.
that you're doing. So you want to talk about that a little
Yes,
bit? Let
now
people know what you have going on.
The sweetest thing, the sweetest thing,
sweetest
which I actually named after, I didn't want to use my mom's name literally,
Okay.
but she was the sweetest thing I've ever
Yes.
known.
Aw.
And so when it came time to start this business, which has always been a dream of mine,
Right.
I love the 80s. I love vintage
Yes.
stuff. I love beautiful things. So I
Yes.
guess it kind of goes along with my love
Right.
for hair in a way.
Yes.
I just love pretty things. And so this was always a little dream of mine too. And I'm just glad that one day it could be my retirement plan when these hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. How long have you been in the industry?
Since I was 14, so it's been over 30 years now. And I actually got my first salon when I was 21.
Look at that.
21.
Wow.
Yep.
Now, okay, you were 21. Did you? So, what were any challenges that you have gone through since you've been in the beauty industry? What, almost 30 years? Have you had any major challenges?
Um, yes. I always, for years, I'm not even gonna lie. In my own mind, I felt like almost a bootleg version of what a business person
Mm,
should be. Only
okay.
because in the beginning, I didn't really run my business as if it was my business,
Right.
because for a long time it was just me by myself.
Oh, I
So
understand.
I still came to the salon as if I was just going to somebody else's job.
Right.
And I didn't feel like, even though I was responsible, I had to make sure the bills were paid, but I
Mhm.
didn't grow it or pay attention to it. And
Mhm.
some of just of the basic principles of business,
Mhm.
I was just winging
Winging it.
it.
Yes, that's what we do.
But something about that over the years was like, this isn't just a fluke. You're
Yeah.
not just winging it
Mhm.
and in business this long.
Right.
So come on, Rissa.
Yes. Yes.
Get your head in the game. And
I
that's when I
resonate
started
with that.
applying myself
Mhm.
to the business more. And I remember hearing on one of your previous interviews before, self motivation has
Yeah.
always been probably the hardest part for me.
Really.
Is just always pushing myself, because
Mhm. Mhm.
nobody else is going to push you.
Yes.
Like, you have to push
You
yourself
have to.
sometimes. And even if you have people that are on your team and support you, there are still those times
That
where it's just you.
Yes, and that's true. That's very true, and I definitely can resonate with that. I remember my journey and starting and getting into it. Of course, I talked about bouncing around from different hair salons. Nothing ended on bad terms. Just
Hmm.
different things happened where it was time to go on, and I finally came into this space. And like you said, it's almost like just trying to treat it as a business. And
Hmm.
sometimes you get into a rut, like, oh, I'm just going to work, doing my regular thing and just
Hmm.
going on about my day. But I realized also that it is more than just that.
Hmm.
And I think that's the most important thing, is that we recognize it, so that we can move forward
Yeah.
and make it bigger in what we envision it to be.
And improve. And I'm one thing about me is I might stumble, but
Yes.
I won't fall.
That
And if
you know what? That's honestly, I know people, that's the Capricorn in us,
hmm
okay? Because let
that's
me
the
tell you
goat.
something. Yes, it's
That's
the
that
goat. That's
sure-footed. We are
yes,
sure-footed.
yes,
So
yes.
yeah.
Let me tell you something. It don't matter how many obstacles have come our way, and I know she can speak about different things that she's gone through, that I've gone through, but we keep pushing.
Yeah, you have to keep going and somehow find the spirit, the inner motivation to
And what
continue.
brings me to that is, like, what is the momentum of your success? What keeps you going? What's your momentum that keeps you going in this beauty industry?
I'll quote Drake on that one.
Okay, come on.
I just want to be successful.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's
Oh,
it. I never looked at myself as someone that was average.
yeah.
I don't, nothing about me. I don't want to be average. When I
Yes.
meet people, I want them to feel like they've encountered someone that is
Yes.
just not average. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And it doesn't mean I have to be rich to do that.
Mhm. Mhm.
I've come to learn that money doesn't make you rich.
Nope. Mm-mm.
It does provide a lot of good things,
Yes, it does.
and but it isn't the most important thing for me.
Mm-mm.
It's
Mhm.
more about my quality of life
Yeah.
and the people that I encounter in life, that I
Mhm.
meet, and that I see and touch, that change me, and sometimes I have the opportunity to change them.
Oh wow, this is beautiful. I love it. I love it. Oh, this is awesome.
So
Anything else you want to share with the people that you have going
um,
on? Or?
I don't know. I just thank you for inviting me
Yes.
to do this, because I've gotten invited to talk recently, and
Mhm.
I've been hesitant about that, but this felt good, and
Yeah.
I appreciate being able to for my voice to be heard. And
Absolutely.
I just want, if I would end with anything, it just be to encourage people, no matter what you go through,
Mhm.
just don't give up and
That's
keep
right.
going.
That's
There's a
right.
reason to keep going.
That's
Something that
right.
I noticed lately, especially with young people, is I've seen so many people saying they don't want to be here, or
Mm.
don't find the will to continue to push on to be
Wow.
here. But I just want to encourage you that things do get better.
Yes, it
You
is.
know, you can start fresh every day.
Absolutely.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Amen to that. Amen.
So just keep going. And
Yes, that's my motto. It's like keep going, keep pushing, keep striving. And I
That's
know
it.
you always hear me say that, but that is the reason again why I came up even with the Momentum name for my hair care line is because it's so much. You got to just keep pushing, regardless
I like
of the
that.
obstacles that come your way. You keep going. You start over. There's always a new day.
And
Ooh, look at that.
yeah.
That sound like a rap.
Put that in the theme song.
Yes.
In the theme song. Put that in there.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Okay, y'all. That's it. That's all. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I hope you all loved it. I know I enjoyed every ounce of this interview.
Thank
this was
you.
good.
I'm glad
Wasn't
to
this good?
Finally chit chat.
Yeah, chopping it up with the shop, guys.
That's it.
That's it, and that's all. Until next time.
Until next time.